Oh, I
Oh,
think I
I
hear
think that's the
Ryan.
sound of Orion.
Dun, 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 dun. Come
Guys, we should
here.
give them some serious emojis for being here.
I
Thank
haven't
you.
learned how to hug yet, so I would if I could. Hi, you.
Hi guys, I am so sorry. I had some Gear VR issues. The plug didn't work with the phone that I had, so here I am. Sorry.
And yet another thing that we were just talking about, impediments to using VR, and I think that's one of them right there, is trying to figure out, there's the equipment is compatible or non-compatible, or what systems to use on the back end. So there's a lot of issues. Do you mind, since we have a huge room of people, and there are several rooms actually, if we jump in and I can do a nice little intro for you? I sort of already did, but I want to do it again
Thank
for
you
everyone's benefit.
so much. It's funny because I'm down for that. This is the first time I've ever gotten on stage not knowing what I'm wearing.
I think you look amazing. I hope you like blue.
All right, cool. Yes, go ahead, intro
All
me
right,
if you
Ryan.
want.
So I had already told everyone that you are a Blogger original gangsta. You came in the community very early on, and you are a builder, and you are a platform pioneer. So blogging, but then down the line there was streaming video. You were the founder of Summit Live event, and you are a community builder and head of community for VR Scout. So you like shiny new objects, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
And building them around them. So with that in mind, I thought you would be the ultimate person to ask all of my questions, given that I am a VR newbie, content oldie, so to speak. All right, and then we'll take some more questions from the crowd. How does that work? All right. So
Works
Ryan,
fine with me.
I'm just going to jump right in. So when we were getting ready and I was thinking about what am I going to ask Ryan, I noticed all of the various things you do. Like I went to your LinkedIn profile, and we share this in common. We are both multi-hyphenates. We have a little bit of everything in our this is what I'm up to. I'm an advisor. I have a passion project building a community for female founders. I like to start stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. Similarly, you are a multi-hyphenate. And I imagine because VR is in a place that is so new, it's not brand spanking new, but it's really starting to come into its own, that you kind of have to be. Can you tell us a bit more about what is someone who, like you, who is really building community in a space that is still in its nascent phase? What is that like? I mean, it's not like you can just go check out the WAN ads and see who's building a community in VR.
Yeah, it's kind of scary because you don't know what you're doing, even though people look at you like you know what you're doing half the time.
Right.
I'm constantly learning, which is what is the most exciting thing, because I think if we all look back in the history of our own personal lives, we're excited by thinking about junior high, high school, college, these transformative times in our lives. And right now seems to be a transformative time in everyone's lives because we're going from a computer platform to a more virtual platform. And it's very early on, so we're learning these things. And like just today, I was late because I'm sitting there scrambling trying to find the right headset to use because my usual headset was at home, and I'm at the office. So I think my first thought for anybody that's in VR right now is to really realize that all these people, myself, anybody that is really a thought leader is somebody that is learning by screwing up a lot, by shooting bad content, by making the first app that doesn't work very well and then making V2. Like if you look at all these apps, I mean, even going back to Facebook, you're looking at something that is damn near unrecognizable from V1 to what it is now. Altspace, for instance, is going to be something completely more transformative after this. So my real thought is we're at this level of Pong. We're at Pong right now, and Super Mario will come, and then Resident Evil will come, or whatever. But we're at this very, like you said, nascent stage, and that's what is the most exciting thing for me about this generation. So I love it when people ask me questions, because sometimes I know them and sometimes I don't, and then we can talk about how can we figure out what is next? What is the next move for theater in VR? How is the transition from VR to AR going to happen? Or is it going to be something that just is amazing? And we had this moment where somebody makes a Mario or a Sonic the Hedgehog that makes everybody have to get in there. Sorry for being verbose, but like that's my favorite question, because in reality, we don't know what the heck's going on, but we are part of making what's next.
We're Pong. I love it.
We're
I
at
love that
Pong.
quote.
Yeah, it's so cool.
We're at Pong. So you just got back from the Summit Live conference in LA. Congratulations. And I
Thank
would love
you.
to hear how it all went. And where do you think, I see so many correlations between live streaming and in VR, because again, it's about there's no practicing. It's about learning how to do it on demand, like doing it live, right? Tell me more about the event, how it went, and also where are we in that genre? Are a lot of live streamers moving into VR?
You know, it's an interesting thing. People that are into tech, into the bleeding edge, like yourself, it seems to be something we're always chasing. What's the next pretty? Live streaming's been around for a long time, and virtual reality has been around for a very long time as well. More private sector than public. Now it's more public sector. You know, I was a kid that had the Virtual Boy by Nintendo. I was a kid that was, you know, in the 90s, I was super excited by VR. I think a lot of us were. But now we have all these technologies that are just amazingly transformative, because like your telephone is now a broadcasting system for live streaming. Right now in your pocket, you have millions and millions of dollars of 90s technology. So look at when NASA did some of the original live streaming, when they did some of the original live broadcasts, like that's live streaming. We had NASA at our summit event talking about live streaming, which is really damn cool. But live streaming isn't something that is going to be completely transformative like VR, in my opinion. Live streaming is something where it's really cool that we can all broadcast and we can all connect in a much more real way. But it's still just broadcasting on a flat TV. Once you bring 360 video into it, then you can start to have all these conversations about actually being there, about this immersion. Because now now that I've been here long enough, and I think a lot of you guys will agree, like I don't know exactly where my Coca-Cola can is, or where my glasses case are. You know, I'm in this room. I'm thinking that you guys are really connected. I'm seeing your applauses and your hand claps and your hearts and all that stuff. That's completely different from live streaming, in my opinion. Even though we're still looking at hearts, just like it was in Periscope. It's way too much larger of a transformation than live streaming. Live streaming has been around forever. Right now is the time when we're going from private sector to public sector, or just public in general. So that's a hard question, because I have such love for both things, but they're just so damn different in the storytelling aspect. Live streaming is broadcasting. This, like if you're looking at AltSpace or if you're looking at Mindshow, is anybody familiar with Mindshow? Okay, Mindshow is this storytelling aspect. It's this tool, and it's made by the people that started VRLA. And you're able to go into an avatar, just kind of step into an avatar, a different character, and then make a story. And you're able to record the story. You're able to pick out different things like barrels or glasses of water or dynamite or planes or something like that and put it in the story. So you're actually able to make this graphic narrative, this cartoon, through this amazing tool that looks like a cartoon that you would actually make. You're able to show emotion with these characters, do voice changes. That's transformative. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm using that term too much, but we talked to Robert Scoble and Shell Israel, and they're always talking about the fourth transformation because we're in the midst of this transformation. So when you get off here, go look at what Mind Show is. It's really one of the things I'm very interested in right now. In fact, if you could see me in real life, I actually bloodied my nose playing it because I forgot where I was. And then I banged into the wall with my Vive on and bloodied my nose. So I've got this big gash on the top of my nose.
It's like the ultimate
from
compliment,
VR-related
I'm sure, for any VR developer. Bloody someone's nose.
I love you for asking if the Vive was okay. Yes, the Vive was okay. The nose will heal and the Vive was fine.
I'm sorry, we have a question. I'm not sure if we're taking them just yet, but maybe we will. We'll jump in to take one. All right. I'm sorry. Over here? Yes?
Hello,
Hello.
Claire.
Hi, Claire.
How do you send music to game developers? What you've created?
Sorry, what's the question? I didn't get the question.
Claire, I think you might have to press your megaphone on.
Hey Claire,
What was
asking, Claire was asking, how do you send music to game developers? I think we should hold that question to the end and we can put a little parameter around what kinds of questions we're taking. Does that sound okay?
That would be great.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, so talking a bit,
question?
it was about game developing, and we're gonna take more questions after we ask a few more, just so we can set some parameters around the kinds of questions we're going to be answering. Okay, so was also wondering, I was reading something that you had written about live streaming and helping content creators, and you call it micro sponsorship, which is a great term. And there are content creators, there are influencers, and there are micro influencers. And I think that this is where it's going now, is that we can actually drill down to just the right content creator or influencer. If you're a brand, for example, we're not for everyone, and now we all are able to find our niche and find our supporter. So I'm wondering, where do you see this going for content in VR? Do you think is there already a micro sponsorship model for content in VR?
I don't think so. I think that's a new thing. The platforms haven't fleshed out to where there are the powerful people quite yet. There are the thought leaders, but those people are on Twitter or on Facebook, and those are the metrics that these companies use. There are companies like Fullscreen that do the YouTube influencers, FameBit that actually look for these mid-level or mid-tier influencers, multiple places. But I just don't see that there is anything besides a director type of or producer type of role. So say you're able to make a VR thing, like you're able to make AltSpace, you're able to make Mind Show, you're able to do a video, and you're able to point to that video. That video becomes your resume. That app becomes your resume. So we've gone back to the old model of your actual work does something, because there's no numbers right now. Like nobody's saying, have you ever heard somebody say, oh, I have 1,000 followers on AltSpace? Like it's not there quite yet.
And I think it's a matter of time.
That's the key word. That's the key word is exactly.
I think about 10 years ago, bloggers were not being seen by ComScore, which is how you got advertising put on your blog, as if you were seen by ComScore. And so Blogger, in essence, represented them and gave you a voice so that you could actually get the advertising. And similarly, I would think that for VR, there's going to have to be of something for them as well, and a way and metrics, obviously, which are still being worked out so that advertisers can see what they're getting for that. So we are about to take another question. Let me ask you, what do you think is, let's do a big prediction. You already threw out a few, and I've got one too that I'm going to share, and we'll see if you all think I'm crazy. But I'd love for you to give me a prediction within the next 5 years. It could be 1 year, it could be 5 years. So it doesn't have to be anything immediate for VR.
You know, I like to change these a lot because this is a constant conversation, and if you don't throw out a different line, then you don't get a different conversation.
Yeah.
I was on a podcast with a guy named Chadwick Turner. His Twitter handle is VR Chadwick, and he was talking about Snapchat spectacles. I see Snapchat doing something amazing because they're doing something very slow play into AR, and most people don't think of Snapchat as augmented reality when it really is. And
Right.
they're also doing something with the cameras on spectacles. So I think in 5 years there's going to be a lot of advertising through filters and stuff like that that is more augmented reality and more specialty glasses and stuff like that, because Snapchat became Snap, which is now a hardware company, a camera company.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's going to be something that's going to become more and more value. We're seeing that stock going kind of crazy as they just released their IPO. So that's highly interesting to me because it's a long run, it's a very long run, and they're slow playing it. They're doing this very awesome, very fun, slow play. And everybody else is trying to run really fast and do something amazing. And maybe the right way to do it is slow and methodical and
let the market
kind of
catch
have
up,
surprise.
right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm just excited I'm excited about Snapchat. I'm excited about HTC Vive. But my future prediction really is going to be, there's going to be a lot of marketing there, and I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in the way that we transform film and storytelling. So I'm interested in seeing something where, you take this black box theater, this small space, and then you have glasses on that are specifically like IMAX glasses or whatever brand or whoever's doing it, and you've got this experience that overlays costumes, that maybe even puts period pieces, like you're watching Hamlet, and then all of a sudden all the audience around you are dressed in period appropriate clothing, stuff like that. It just transforms your experiences and adds to it. I want to see something that adds to real life instead of takes us away, that adds to art, that brings technology together. That's what I'm really excited about. And I can't see that not happening with the way that technology is coming and the way that it's merging with traditional entertainment. That's why I moved from Silicon Valley to Silicon Beach. I moved from San Francisco to Los Angeles about 1.5 years ago because I saw what was coming, and I wanted to invest my time. I wanted to invest my heart. I wanted to invest my talents into helping to make that happen.
Bravo. We'll have to ask. I want to ask you about that in a minute, but let's take a question since we're in the Q&A portion of our time. Lisa, do you have a question?
So I have a question. I don't have a question, but if somebody else
okay.
does,
Okay. All right. If you have a question, then let Lisa know. Then I'll just keep asking mine. By the way, my big prediction, just so I can throw it out there, is that we talk about how devices now, eventually we won't have any cords. And I think, no, we won't even have devices. You can walk into spaces that are VR enabled. So
Right.
Imagine being in like a theater. You walk in for the experience. You wear nothing. You just have the experience. That for me would be unbelievable. Like, I'm just waiting. And I even have this weird fantasy about like the pixie dust that you can sprinkle on people that will make them VR enabled, but that's another show. That's a totally different show right now. We won't get into details right now. So questions? No? Oh wait, we have some here. Yes.
I see Jamdo.
We have a few.
Mustafa, I just need to get your hand. Mustafa, can you put your hand up one more time? Your emoji hand. Okay.
Oh, emoji hands, yeah.
Yep.
All right, Mustafa, you're live. You need to unmute yourself though, so you can ask questions.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yep, we can hear you.
Fantastic. You had mentioned before a correlation between sort of the early days of social networking and the current nascency of VR. I was hoping that you might be able to elaborate on specific parallels between the two. Like, do you feel like social VR is headed for a one-to-one ratio of like your actual self with your avatar, or do you think it'll continue to be more anonymized and like creative or abstract?
Oh, sorry. Who's answering this? Who are you asking? We both were, I think, talking.
I was hoping for answers from either of you.
How
Would
about
be
for
interesting.
both of us?
So.
Do you want to start, Ryan?
I truly hope that it's not completely avatar based. I hope that it becomes more and more like us, because if we're using our own visage, then we have accountability to ourselves when we're in these places. If we're just, robots or other things, then there might be problems. But, I think that my first thought when I was thinking about a social space in VR, my first thought was how much I wanted to get together with old summer camp counselors. If I could get an area where I'd be able to sit around a campfire. One of my first speeches about VR was called Gather Around the Digital Campfire. And I want that. The more personal that we can be in VR, the more connected we can be in a world that sometimes we don't feel connected in. And I see that as the way that we kind of win together by really being together in a much more real way. And maybe I can have that dream where I get together with my old fellow summer camp counselors in a place that looks really like underneath the pine trees in North Georgia. Like that's what we want. We want to relive these lifetimes experiences. We want to connect with people that we love that we might not have seen before or for a long time.
And I'll take it from a slightly different angle. For example, when blogging was starting to take off, there was a real mistrust that bloggers and influencers had towards brands and others who wanted to commercialize what they were doing, and yet they really wanted to make money doing what they loved. So what needed to happen, and where I see things moving in terms of in VR, is building authentic experiences where folks can be sponsored, they can interact, and it can still be authentic, but brands can participate, you can still monetize. And a lot of these things already got worked out through FTC guidelines around disclosures. So imagine, you have a billboard or this experience is brought to you by, and the brand does not interact or change the experience, they just enable the experience. And those are things that we worked out in the early days of blogging. We used to get these press releases that were just ridiculous. Like, would you please reprint this on your blog? And I think marketers have gone way beyond that, and they understand that it's not about just getting endorsements by influencers. It's about creating wonderful experiences that people want to talk about. And then there's a halo effect that the brand can enjoy for having provided that. And that's something that you can do so easily in VR. It's just a matter of being there and enabling the experiences, and being willing to come and provide those experiences even early on in the early days without worrying so much about how your brand looks.
I agree. I mean, I think that's an awesome take on it. I'm glad that you answered that. I'm glad that was asked. Are there any other questions?
Anybody else, if you want to raise your hands, I will call on the emoji so everybody can see it. Okay, let's see here. Jamzo. I'm not stuttering your name.
Yo. I have a question.
Hello.
What are the major pitfalls? What are the major pitfalls for this VR industry going ahead in the short term?
I haven't thought about
that's
that.
a hard one.
Well, I will tell you. I'm gonna just, because you'll probably have a longer answer than me. So I'll tell you. I think the first one everywhere. And I think that unlike with social, right, where everyone had access to it and anyone could create, that was the beauty of it, is that anyone could publish. VR right now is about who's got the rig and and what equipment do you have and what is your setup. And I think there's still a shakeout around who is going to win that battle. And maybe there will be several winners, but we don't really know yet. So you've got a huge population of people who are not really going to attempt it until that is worked out. I think that's an initial impediment to VR.
Yeah, I had somebody that I would consider a troll say something that was very astute. He referred to VR as the solution that's looking for a problem. And it made me think a lot because, you know, I love thinking about where we're at. And I look back on all these things, like what has slowed VR down. VR was already poised to really do something in the 90s, and then it just died, and it took a lot of people down with it because they put a lot of investment, a lot of time. It burned the investors in New York a lot, and now we've got this wonderful time when it's happening again, and there's a lot of hardware out there, but I don't think that there's enough software. A lot of these softwares seem like they're just demos right now. You know, you might pay $20 to play a game that then you're like, okay, I just finished this game in like 9 minutes. That wasn't worth $20 for me. You know, like it was cool, it was whatever, but we're still in this demo phase. So I'm seeing a lot of people like Jory. I love seeing you on here because, you know, I love seeing women on here because a lot of my female friends, which basically all my friends are freaking females, you know, it's just the way I am. But they're like, you know, I'm not gonna be into VR because I don't want to mess up my hair all the time every time I get on and have to deal with that. We're very at the beginning time, so I like to tell people to do the things in VR so that they can learn, so that they can be in the forefront, because this is going to transform whatever your job is. Like right next door to where I'm standing right now, we have basically the Zillow of VR, a company called Transported, where you're able to go into the place that you're going to be looking at for a home and be able to look around. You know, all these things, anything that you can think of is going to have some kind of VR aspect of it, whether it's training for dentistry or whatever. I mean, that just popped in my head, and you can already see, yeah, that's probably going to friggin' happen because it makes a lot of sense.
That is an interesting comment.
Can I ask a question?
Learning to drive is a great one. Yeah.
Can I ask one?
Was there another one?
About.
I love the fireplace over there, by the way. Good job, Alt Space.
For some reason they can't hear you, Claire.
Thank you. All right, so we can go ahead and take. Do we have time for one more question?
Wait. Yeah, Claire has a question, but you can't hear her. Can you hear me? Yeah, Claire has a question.
Can I hear you?
Jory, do we have time for another question?
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought I was on mute.
Okay.
No.
Claire,
Okay, let's do one more.
We need you to raise the emoji hand first, though, please.
Wait. Raise your emoji hand. Raise your hand.
Okay. Thanks so much, Claire.
Hi, Claire.
Hiya. I just wondered if you know when the mobile Leap Motion app is coming out.
The mobile what?
Leap Motion.
We don't have anything to announce, Claire, yet on any kind of Leap Motion compatibility with mobile. But when we do, we will definitely shout it from the rooftops.
Yay!
You asked the right question, and the right person was here to answer it. No.
Yes, thank God.
That's cool. Yeah, exactly. Mobile is such a big thing right now. I wanted to mention, and I haven't mentioned anything that I'm paid by or anything like that. You know, I work at VR Scout, so yay, follow VR Scout. But there's an interesting thing that's happening with a company called Zeality, and that is, you're able to watch a 360 video and you're able to do a reaction video inside of it. So I'm thinking about how awesome that's going to be to share on social when you're looking at something and you look at a space and you're looking around. Say you're looking for the stitch lines. You find the stitch line and your reaction is sitting in there saying, hey, I'm looking for the stitch line. It's making all these 360 videos and these 360 experiences shareable to a 2D world, because we still have to remember that we are the very, very few, the proud, the brave, whatever, that are actually doing this. Most people are interested in seeing what we're doing, but not doing it. So if you can find ways that you can explain to people, like that's one of the main goals that we have at VR Scout, is showing a 3D mentality to a very, very flat 2D world. So like we do a lot of mixed reality stuff. If you can find ways to showcase that, that's going to help move our industry further. So sharing this, like I love the fact that this is going to be a podcast. I love the fact that you know how to use these assets. All these assets that we're making in VR are going to make our friends that are in Georgia or our cousins that are in Cincinnati be more interested and be more likely to put these things on, and tell people it doesn't have to be an $800 headset and a $1,500 computer. Show them something in a Google Cardboard, and then they're going to be like, oh, that was $12. A Google Cardboard's $12. Or I think Google just hit the mark of 10 million. They've sent out 10 million freaking Google Cardboards.
And it had a nominated film, one of its VR films.
Pearl,
what a way to get
Google
people to
Spotlight
understand
Story.
it. Yeah,
Google Spotlight Stories is one of my favorite things. They did this piece called Pearl, which raise your hands if you've seen Pearl. Has anybody? If you haven't seen Pearl, you should watch it, because it hits on all my little love buttons.
Yeah.
It is
made me cry.
It is complete. I'm a dad. It made me cry. It's music, so it's artistic. It's all graphic design. So these things that are graphic design that aren't live action, they don't have to adhere to the rules of physics. And that's what is really cool about storytelling in VR, because you get to throw away a lot of rules that used to be in traditional films and storytelling. I could wax poetic on this forever, but that story even hit the perfect marker of being like between 6 and 9 minutes long, because the song is that long.
And it didn't feel like, it was good for VR. It was just good.
It was just good.
And film, yeah.
Yeah. When my 3-year-old daughter, when I can give her a Google Cardboard and she enjoys something, then I know that it's really, really badass. All right. You look awesome,
a question.
Bubba,
However,
by the way.
I think we are running out of time. Lisa, are we out pretty much?
It is time. If you
It is time.
You've got time. You can take one last burning question.
How about we take one last one? There was a nice big hand right up here. Yes, is there a question right up here? Yes.
So I can call on you again if you want to use the hand emoji. Call on you. Okay. Let's just make sure it's relevant to what they're talking about. All right, Bubba, you're on.
I've noticed with VR that a lot of my friends are finding it very weird to accept it, and they won't even try it. How are we going to get around that aspect in VR of getting people to try it and thinking it's not kind of dangerous for them? It's that first step.
I think that showing them 2D things, like for instance, we just shot a video of me playing Contra in a headset, and you're able to see me playing Contra. They can relate to that. Everybody can relate to that. Everybody loved Contra or Duck Hunt, something like that. Don't put them in a big headset like an HTC Vive. I'm a huge proponent of the Google Cardboard, because it shows them that they can just put it on and take it off. It doesn't have a strap or anything like that. You can say, just look in here. Look at this video. Find something cool and show them that. And then afterwards, then show them all the nerdy stuff that you have after they ask for it. you know, like we have to realize that we're drug dealers, you know, like,
Totally agree.
what is our gateway drug? Our gateway drug is probably Google Cardboard.
Well, and being a lurker versus a participant. I think
Being a
people are
lurker.
afraid to participate right off the bat because there's a lot of stuff. Like, look at me. I still am trying to figure out how to work my hands. There's so many things to
I
have
don't
to
know what to
learn
do
and
with
to
them.
do it right. So I think, and we would say the same thing with social is about lurking, and those people became the most active users, but they first got comfortable. So just enabling people to lurk is important. Thank you for your
Lurk and look,
questions.
yeah.
And I think
You
since
guys
we
are
are
awesome,
going to
man.
wrap
That was
up,
fun.
yeah. Well, you made this easy, my dear. Thank you for joining me on my
By being
maiden.
super late. I'm so sorry. Thank you guys for waiting too. I apologize for that.
You're virtually late. Oh, well, it's okay. We got you, and we're glad that we had you. So thank you, Ryan, for being here for my first show in VR, and thank you for being here. We're going to be back hopefully next month. I need to talk to Lisa about getting the date down, but check us out. We'll be sharing this on regular channels for those who are not in VR. I'll be sharing it for my own site, and I'm at Jory DJ is my Twitter handle. So take a look there. And once again, thank you for being here. We'll see you again.
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
Jordan.
Bye.
Mr. Great show. Can't wait till next month. Alt Spacers, for those of you still in here, please